Whenever you're ready.
I guess on now. Okay, cool. Hi, I'm TheaTouchton. We're gonna be talking about Steve Jobs today, and this is my parody of drunk history. It's great. It's going great. Okay. So Steve Jobs, right? He's like, oh, this is so weird, but he was adopted. Like, I'm not trying to start shit, but he was adopted. And he had like a great home life, even though he was adopted, but he was always really upset that his parents gave him up. He thought something was wrong with him. He was like, what's happening in my life? Like, why would anyone give me up? I'm so great. That was Steve Jobs. He really felt like that. And then he pretty early on just started getting weird with his diets, right? Like, he would like, he just didn't really believe in eating meat and stuff, and like that was all fine. But then he was like, you know what? Like, a lot of the greats only eat fruit, so like, I'm Steve Jobs and I'm only gonna eat fruit from now on. I hope that's okay. And little does he know, it leads to his entire demise, but we'll get back on that. So anyway, here's this kid. He's adopted. He's like 17 at this time. Life's pretty great. He's trying to go to like all the cool universities. I think he got accepted into like one of the big Ivy League ones, and he went for a while and he was like bogus. And then he like quits all his classes and he just starts auditing classes. Like, he goes for like one thing and like it's pretty much like fucking with the entire system, because instead of paying, he's just auditing fucking classes, like, so he's not getting graded on them, but he's pretty much learning what people are learning. And then he meets this one guy, I'm gonna totally mispronounce his name. His name's like Warkitsky, something like that. I'll go over and dub it in editing, it's fine. But, so this guy is like a super tech brain. Like, it's like, he's one of those people who can like solve a Rubik's Cube. He can like take a computer part and put it back together. And then essentially, him and Jobs like kind of team up, and they're all on their hippie shit. Like, Steve Jobs isn't like even wearing shoes at this point. He's just fucking shoeless and going in, and like he doesn't bathe all the time because it doesn't want to affect with his natural pheromones or whatever. This guy's fucking wackadoo, and we use all his products. And he's a millionaire, bajillionaire, so it's so great. This is America.
And I'm proud to be an American.
He meets Warkitsky, and they're hitting it off, and essentially Jobs uses Warkowski's computer skills to develop the first Apple, right? Like the first Apple computer, and I don't know why they called it that. I think it was kind of like Animate the Apple. It was some weird Christian homage, which is kind of fucked up and trippy when I think about it too long, but yeah, I don't know what that's about. The whole divine intersection of Christianity and the universe is something else we can talk about another time, but he basically, they built this computer, and it was like a big deal at the time because only Gates was the motherfucking computer people, and Steve Jobs kind of wanted a computer that was like for coders, and like kind of wanted to make computering a hobby like it is now. Like, we can be on the internet and things are divine. And so him and Warkowski are all going together. I don't know why. Let's make a sound. It's so cool. And there you have this fucking computer in the garage. Wow, it's a big deal. Everybody comes to this garage to see this computer. Like, wow, it's amazing. And it's like a pretty easy to access computer. And Jobs is like naturally a businessman. He's very, very compelling and charming. He's like, you can buy this computer, and people starting wanting copies, and like they pretty much start Apple out of like a fucking garage. All right, that's where this came from. Just whenever in doubt, just start your business out of your fucking garage, I guess. Like, who's to say? Worked for Mr. Jobs. So Apple starts taking off into that. Things are going great. People are buying the computer. It's still a little expensive. It's like $1,000, which is, I don't know. Back then, I think it was like $1,000. It was like $1,700 for just like a monitoring system, which is still like, it's about the fucking price it is now. But I think it was a little bit more expensive given back then, like, I don't know. It was cheaper than what Gates was offering. And so Steve Jobs just starts, like, developing more. They start building the foundations of this Apple company, and things are going really great. And then his first thing is, like, he has a daughter. I said he doesn't want to believe that this is his daughter. And he, like, he's been with this girl since, like, forever. And she gets pregnant, she insists that it's his, and he's like, no, it's not, because he's totally fucking tool bag. And he's like, no, it's not my baby, you're crazy, I would never reproduce unknowingly. And that's his mindset. So he goes, and then he makes this computer called the Lisa, which is the name of the kid he abandoned. And it's just, like, in such fucking denial that, like, the kid that he abandoned, he names a computer after. But this started being his demise, because Jobs, like, while he could, like, sell and he could make anything art, essentially, in his part of selling, like, he would be like, look at this, and, like, and you'd instantly want to buy it, because it's just the way he could talk about and compel people. He was very much a showman. And he would do all this, but there's, like, some problems is, like, yeah, he could show man and this area in his life, but, like, in other aspects of his life, he could not keep it together, dude. He was, like, he would, like, yell at employees, because employees would be like, dude, we only have, like, you want us to build this computer part in 7 days. It's, like, just the way it works. It's, like, we can only build it in 14. Steve Jobs was like, absolutely the fuck not. He'd flip out. He would start throwing shit. He'd be like, that's bullshit. You're gonna build it in 7 days. I promised those people 7 days. And everybody at the, like, computer system would be like, whoa, I don't know how we're gonna do that. Like, we only have 7 days. It's never been done before. But then lo and behold, by some miracle, and probably just the fact that they were, like, being traumatized and frightened for their lives and jobs and livelihood of what else, they would do it. They would do it within the week that Steve Jobs asked, and things would be happy. But it was, like, kind of bad that he was doing that too, because he was, like, kind of very emotionally abusive to them, and yeah, it was a whole deal. And he would also do this thing where, like, it would be somebody's idea. They'd be like, hey, instead of, like, the cursor doing this woobly thing, I want the cursor to do this woobly thing. And Steve Jobs would be like, I hate that idea, that's the dumbest idea ever, how the fuck dare you say that to me, fuck you, fuck your mom, you're a worthless piece of shit. Like, this is how he would just talk to people, just fucking berate the hell out of them, and, like, use everything he knew about him, and, like, humiliate them. And then, like, the next day, he'd come with their idea and be like, actually, we are gonna get the cursor to go like this, and I thought of it all by myself. Thank you, I'm Steve Jobs. And then, like, people that he worked with would have to be okay with it. It's, like, at least their idea, but they wouldn't get credit for having the idea, and he would have, like, shamed them for having the idea, but then taken the idea himself, and that was called his reality distortion field. So there we have this, like, man. Okay, before we move to, like, the next thing, because it's very hot in this bathtub. Pretty much, this guy, he doesn't know who his parents are. He's kind of mad that he was adopted. He's got fucking weird issues with his ex and is refusing to believe this, like, that his daughter is his own, even though she so clearly is. He's named a fucking computer after her and is, like, in his own denial. Like, I don't know what's going on there, but there's a lot. And then he's starting to get this backlash for how he's kind of, his temper, and how he's kind of all over the place running, and, like, he has, like, all of these, like, empty houses because he can't decide on, like, what furniture to fill them in. He's very particular about his products and the design of his products, so, like, there's a lot of photographs of him just, like, in an empty house, and it's just him, and he's just like, hello, I'm Steve Jobs. And yeah, I don't even know. He's thought of one of the greats, and, like, and to be true, he was very smart in what he was doing, but yeah, we'll continue.